Hello everybody. In this video we're gonna show how to work with some built-in data set in R. That means how to manipulate the data using R and RStudio. Once after we install the R software in our machine, in the taskbar below in here we will see there is symbol of R. So once if we click that symbol, R will open for you. So in this screen, as you can see, R is already opened, and there are four parts of this screen. This part is the coding screen. I mean, once if you write down some code, you will see it in here, and then you can run the code. Down there below, it is called the console screen in R. Once if you try to run any code into the coding screen, you can see the action into the console screen. The right hand side there is two part. One part is called the global environment. That means once if you have any data variable or any other kind of declared variable, you will see them into the right hand side of here. Down there is a file explorer, or if you have any sort of plotting or data visualization, you can see from there. This is the basic stuff of this four part of the screen of R. We will gonna show slowly all other stuff relating to this part in here, as you can see in the screen. But in this video especially, we're gonna show how to work with some built-in data set in R. R is one of the most powerful data manipulation language, and it is especially used for some sort of machine learning activities and then AI related activities. It is data visualization and so on. So rather than traditional programming language, R is very useful and handy for statistical learning, machine learning, data manipulation, data visualization, and so on. Because R is such a versatile programming language that it can handle large dimension and also large volume of data. Inside the R, there are thousands of packages. I will go through some of them today. So that package come for various kinds of reason. In the down hand side, right hand side in here, you can see there is a some part where you can see the help, or you can view, or you can see your plot, or you can do so like install some packages. Once if you go there, you can, if you click the install, then you can write down the name of the package and you can install it from here. On the other hand, you can install the R package from here, this part of the screen, that means coding part. Say there is a package called ML bench. So if you want to install that package, you have to write down install.package and then name of the package. Say I put my, before then let's clean up down this screen in here with a brush. If you click in there, it will clean this screen from here. And then in the right hand side, let's start from the beginning. So we have to clean that part in here. Say let's clean. So nothing is in this part and nothing is in that part. Now I want to install this package. So the cursor is in front of that line, and then the package is gonna be installing for you. As you can see into the console screen, the package been already installed for you, and this is the location of the package. Similarly, you can install the package called the dataset, and once after you install any package, to use any to use that one, you have to write down library and then name of the package. Say we installed ML branch and dataset2 package for us, and then we want to use them. Then we have to write down library ML branch and library dataset. So the cursor is over there, and I am hitting Control Enter in both of the line. So these two library is available for me to use. Another important function for us to know is to get the help function. Once if you write down help and inside something, then down there in this screen you will see help relating to that word. Say you want to know the help in relation to the data set, then the data set relating all information you will see in this screen down there in here. Once after you once after you install and use the library dataset, and if you hit this one say data and this one, then it will show you the datasets in the package dataset and which data is available in that uh, which data is available in which library, under which library. So in here datasets in the package of ml blends is available this dataset, and then in the data in on the other hand you have some lot of dataset inside the name of this package is called the dataset package. This is how you will be able to know which data is available in which package. So there is another way to know which data set is available in which package. You can write down this code, and if you run this code you will see total package list, and then inside of that package which data set is available. Say in the boot package, this is the available data set, and say in the broom this is the data set, say into the carrot this is the data set, right? So cars and so on. So these are the built-in data set inside the R, and just to do you for some kind of practice and play with that data set. There is a data set called ggplot2, and which is also useful for you to do various kinds of data visualization. Say you want to use that library, if you don't have that one installed you have to install that library similarly using install packages in this way. But I would like to use it this way because I have already installed it before. So you have to write down library and the name of the library. Inside that library there is a dataset called mpg. So to get that library, say you have to write down say mpg, and then there is a variable I declare df mpg. So if you run that code, something will happen, that is that dataset will bring R into your global environment, and now at this moment you can work with this dataset. So that is the dataset which will have 234 observation with 11 of the variable. So once if you double click in there you will see all the row and column in that dataset. Another thing you need to understand that once if you click in this button, small button in here, you will see what is the name of the variable and what is the data type of them, and some of the example of the inside data. We'll go through them very slowly and very soon. Another data set as an example is called car dataset, and that dataset is available in a library called the R part. So if you want to use car 90 dataset, what you have to do is you have to bring that library R part, and then bring that data set into a variable. I name the variable as df car. So I put it into that variable, and once if I run that code into that variable df car, it brings that data set. Now if you want to see, as I said before, the what is the name of the variable, you will see from there, and you will go back to the normal condition. But once if you double click that variable, you will see all the name of the variable, and then the name of the rows, and then the inside some of the data over there. Okay, so say this is the car data set, car 90 data set. Another example of data set is to work with the structure. Say if you use str, and inside the str you write down the name of that data variable, you will see the structure of the data set down there into the console screen. So how many variable on that data set, and then a variable mean how name of the column, and then their data type. So by this way you can have a feeling about that data set, right? Another one of the dataset is called the mtcar. Similar way you can bring that dataset into the variable called df mtcars, as in here. You can define the variable name, your own variable name or whatever. So once if you bring the data set, say the name of the variable is df mtcar, also will be in here. Then if you want to see the head of the that data file, you have to write down head, and then inside of there you have to put down the name of the data file. Then you will see head mean head means 6 top rows from that data file. So from there, if you write down that, you can see in here. At the same time, if you double click on that data file, you will also see that from the coding screen in here. So if you double click something into the global environment, the data will be available for you in this environment, I mean the in the coding environment in here, and you can switch in your coding line if you want to. Another important function is called dim, and then inside the dim, if you write down the name of the data variable, it will give you the dimension of the data file. Dimension means how many rows and how many columns. So I said dim and then said the df empty car. You can see from in here output is 32 and 11, that means 32 row and 11 column. Same thing you can see into the global screen. So in R, same kind of activities you can do in different way or various kind of way. Another important example is like one of the function is called the call name. If you write down call name and inside there you can write down the variable of that data file or data variable, it will return you the name of the all variable in that data file. So you can get the output down there into the console screen, but at the same time, if you click in this small symbol in there, you will see the name of all variables in here. So whatever you want to do is you can define which way you have to have the filling of your data file or data set, but to write down something into the coding screen and get the output or get the fillings is the best way or practice to having the code. Say there is a data file called iris data. You want to get some feelings about that data. That is also a built-in data set of R. You can get the iris into the data variable called df. So inside the df, you will the iris is named as a df now. And if you say write down head iris, it will give you the uh, head of that data file. At the if you or you can write down the df in here, it will give you the same output because you put df iris dataset into a variable called df. So for you at this moment, df and iris is the same thing. Similarly, you can get the dim dimension of the dataset and the call name of the dataset, that means how many columns is in there. Similar way, you can get another type of dataset called Prima India Diabetes dataset. It is a diabetic data, and you can bring the data like this way. Get the head of the data from this line, like head data file name, and then d mean dimension of the data file, and call names mean column name of the data file. Similar way, there is a data file called BostonHousing data file. You can get the data file this way and get the head, dimension, and call name of the data file. There is a built-in data file in R called air quality. So let's get that data file, data.frame air quality. You can get that data file in this way as well. So inside of df, it is a data file for you is called the air quality data. Now if you can see view of the df, it will give you the data file view in here, but at the same time you can, if you double click into the global environment, you will see the data into this screen in there, I mean into the coding screen. If you want to see any data column, I mean there is a column named temp, and then all the data in that temp, if you write as a print that data file and that column name, it will give you all the data inside that variable or that column. So this is how you can get any data inside of that column. Another important function of data is called the summary. So inside the if you write down summary and then the variable inside the summary, it will give you the each columns mean, first quartile, median, second quartile, and maximum value of each of the variable or each of the column. In statistical learning and machine learning, sometimes the variable of a data file is called the variable. So there is a functions called names, and then if you put df, then it will give you similarly the name of the column this way as well. At the same time, if you write down call names of df, it will give you the same result. As I said, in R, you can do same kind of action in different way. Okay, so there is another function called row name. So if you write down the row name, it will give you name of the row, how many rows in there. And as I said before, head, and then if you write down the name of the variable, it will give you the top 6 rows. Similarly, tail df, it will give you the down 6 rows. As I said before, str df, I mean data frame, will give you the name of all variable or column name, their data type, and then inside some of the observations. Okay, so another way is we need to know that how to convert a data file into another variable name. Say there is a data variable in that data file is called month. This one is month. It is an integer, as you can see down there in here. We can convert it into a factor variable by this way. So and then it put it into the same name. So as factor and then data file column name, you can put convert it into a factor and then put into same variable name. So if you run that code and you can again check the structure of that data file, down there you will see that before it was integer, now it is converted into the factor. Okay, another data file is called the car data file. So to bring that data file as a data frame, you can write down the function like data.frame cars and then put it into a variable called df2. This is the df2. So inside the df2 there is a data file called car, and then if you can see what is inside, there are two things. One is speed, another one is distance. So based on this, we can see the structure of that data file. There are two variables in there, and the type of them is numerical value, and inside some of the observations. We can see the summary by this way. So two variable, speed and distance. You can see what is the minimum value, maximum value, first quartile, median, mean, or third quartile, something like that. Okay, so if say you want to get all the values inside the speed which is more than 20, and then put it into another variable called df3, you have to do something like that. So df3 is equal to df2 of df2 speed which is more than 20, you can put it like that way. So inside of df3, all the speed value which is more than 20 is stored at this moment. So if we check, double click in the df3, you will see all the 20, more than 20 speed is stored in there. Okay, so this is how you can manipulate one kind of data or sort some kind of data in based on some sort of conditions. Okay, another important things when we play with the data, we need to know, is there any duplicate value in any of the variables or columns. So to check it, you have to write down duplicated df2, say, or I mean the name of the data file and then the name of the column. So if you run this code at this moment into the df2, it will say which column, which data value is duplicated or not, and it will give you true or false this way. And then say this will give you the duplicate rows, and then if you run down this code, it will say which row is actually having the duplicated value, right? So down there in here, it will give you how many column is actually row is actually having the duplicate value, it is saying that total 31 of them having the duplicate value. Okay. So there is another example of library is called ISWR. So if you want to bring that library, you have to write down the code like library and then name of the library. And there is a data set in there is called Gilajo. So if you write down that Gilajo, and this is another way to bring the data set, and df into you can put the Gilajo into df at this moment. Okay. So in there are four variable, you can see from there. Mm. So once after you finish your R file and R coding in a R scripting, you can be able to know the information of that session by using session info. So once if you run the session info, it will give you the information about that session. That session means which R version you was using and which platform and what is the um, your operating system and so on. So until now, this was our data manipulation discussion today. I hope you guys will enjoy this lecture and will practice accordingly. Those who didn't subscribe this channel can subscribe and will be able to know the upcoming new video of R. So we will every week we will upload new videos, and then until we finish everything relating to R. So those who are following this channel will be a master of R. Thanks everybody and goodbye.